When it comes to the world of fashion, Louise Roe has it covered. She is the host of NBC's reality competition Fashion Star, has her own clothing line and designs shoes, jewellery and handbags. Really, all of that. When she's not thinking of style, she is writing a travel column for the Huffington Post. Louise, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. This is the most awesome set.
We have our production crew to thank for that, and
my own mug.
And your own mug.
Thanks, guys.
I know it's luxury on HuffPost Live. Everybody, you all know that. All the commenters know that. Okay, so I want to talk about Fashion Star.
Yes.
Second season.
Yes.
And first episode's already aired on NBC. How is it? You've replaced Elle
Amazing.
McPherson.
I have, yes. Elle hosted last season, and I'm hosting this season. Our first episode aired on Friday night at 8, and it was amazing. It was so exciting. The cool thing about this show, I don't know if you know the format, but we give 12 up-and-coming designers the chance to show off their designs on the runway each week, tweaked to a certain theme. So they're given a very specific, like coming up this week is sex sells. So, but that doesn't have to be short skirts. It's kind of however you want to interpret that. And then they have mentors who guide them through, and those are Jessica Simpson, Nicole Richie, and John Varvatos. So 3 very successful but extremely diverse people giving their advice. And then the sort of amazing twist is that we've got 3 huge retailers sitting on the runway ready to pounce and buy.
So it's Saks and
Macy's and Express. Again, really diverse, but huge. And so as soon as they buy something, people at home can as well. Immediately, which is dangerous and amazing.
I was going to say, it sounds like it sounds like something I shouldn't watch, but I kind of would watch.
Have to.
I know, I'm going to have to. Well, this is the website I've brought up for everybody to check out. It's in the resource well. And, in terms of like Macy's, Saks, what of the sort of collections that are out there have you sort of worn before? Are you interested in wearing? Like, what designs so far? I know it's only had one episode of this season, but what sort of jumped out at you that people have created?
Well, we saw, and it was the theme was showstoppers. So you had to come up with something just, completely jaw-droppingly awesome. And there was a beautiful, remember we're going into spring, so everything's very spring, summer. Beautiful dress that Express bought, actually. It came in blue, but my favourite was this kind of sorbet peachy orange, which we're going to talk about in a bit, spring colours. And it had a little peekaboo keyhole on the just at the rib area, which is a bit scary, but it was small enough that it's very flattering, so you can get away with it, because that's a huge trend, the cutout trend all over the runways.
Yeah, and it makes me really nervous because
scary.
Whenever anyone mentions like midriff or crop top, I start to like break out in.
Crop tops were like my sort of teenage when there were girl bands around that wore like All Saints. Love it.
Everyone else watching is like, who the hell are they talking about? But we'll
crop tops
just
and baggy trousers, very low slung. But this is a different way of wearing it. It's much chicer. But actually, I just wrote a blog for Express saying how if you don't want to do it on your tummy, the cutout, you can even find shoes, bags, earrings, everything with it, or even jeans. So you can kind of have the gap somewhere else.
So you can sort of like mixing and match like high style and kind of like low style as well at the same time.
Yeah, and a way to wear a trend elsewhere on your body, wherever you feel confident.
I mean, you look at your body. I mean, you can't feel unconfident about any part of your body, surely.
Well, I'm like every other woman. I have bits that I like, bits that I don't like, and I'm definitely. I think I'm learning all the time, even in the job I do, on what suits and trying out new trends and new, prints and colours.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's fun. I enjoy it, but definitely there's a science to it.
Well, and of course you do write as well a blog for stylists, which we have up here, which is such a great website. And how do you kind of come up with the topics for your blog every week?
Well, I don't actually do a weekly blog. I took over this as the guest editor for this month, which is really exciting. So and they gave me free rein. I mean, obviously within the style and beauty arena, but I did a little black book of secret places around LA that I love, which included spas and boutiques, and then I did a beauty bargain piece, because I feel like you don't have to spend a fortune. Yes, it's okay if you have an amazing eye cream that you just love to splash out on, fine, but there are other pieces that should be in your bathroom or your toiletry bag.
What's your kind of budget item? If anyone's watching and they said, what's your like beauty secret? What's your
Maybelline Great Lash Mascara, curved brush. I don't even know how much it is. It's probably about $5.
Yeah.
And it is something I've worn since I first started wearing mascara, probably too young. Probably about 12 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we were 13, you're just sort of wearing it. And okay, of course, as well, you gave everybody a peek into your own amazing closet. And I think we have the slideshow of the closet up. Right. Yes, we do. And all of a sudden, all of your fashion purchases. Right, so
that's too many shoes, isn't it?
Well,
and that's, I have to admit, that's only like a third, a quarter.
Well, I was going to say, because when I first met you, you were wearing some fantastic electric blue Louboutins.
And can I just say to viewers, this was a good 6
it was a long
years ago, and she remembers my shoes, which is amazing.
They were amazing shoes. I don't think I'd seen anything quite like it.
I still have those puppies.
But okay, so just walk us through the whole. I mean, how big is the closet, first of all?
Well, it is a room. I'm not going to lie. When I got my new place, I thought, it's my business. And whenever my mum and dad have a go at me, I'm like, it's work. It's research, isn't it?
I need to get into your business.
It's very important. So I do have quite a lot of rails, but the shoes are my favourites. If I had to give everything else up, I'd keep the shoes.
How many shoes do you have?
Maybe 150 pairs of heels.
More conservative than I thought.
Yes, although fairly excessive, I think, still.
Slightly excessive.
They're all bright. I don't think I own one black pair of shoes. I'm just into bright colours and prints and fun textures. And apart from the fact that they look better and stand out more on TV, they just put me in a good mood.
Yeah, I think I like bright colours as well. And obviously bright, talking about spring as we did, bright colours and sort of like sorbets are huge on the catwalk for the spring. What else? What else is big? I know that decades are big. So we've got 60s prints, which are huge. I think we've got a slideshow somewhere about this, but that we'll bring up.
Oh, that's pretty. That's Coco. She was on here the other day.
She was like, I sat down with Coco. She was really lovely.
She rocks. She's got that very mod 60s face, and I think think Edie Sedgwick, Andy Warhol, that sort of vibe. And then this is a bit more 70s. Another huge trend, which is my personal favourite, far more laid back. You see the wide brim hat. Think more Bianca Jagger, Studio 54.
Yeah.
I love the paisley print.
Now, see, the thing is, for people watching, and you've got Edie. I mean, Edie Cab looks amazing, whatever she wears, but looking at this, it's that kind of open kind of crochet, or sort of the open kind of crocheting at the top. Like, how do you get away with wearing something like that? It looks awesome on the catwalk.
It does, but I think you've always got to take the catwalk with a pinch of salt, or the runway, as we should call it.
Darling, yes, the runway.
But, that is the extreme. That's the head-to-toe look. And so take a bit of what you like. Maybe you think the hat's cool. Maybe you like the tasseled necklace she's wearing, or you just like the colour, or you like suede. I think if anyone does a whole catwalk look head-to-toe, it's a bit too much anyway.
Yeah.
And so just take what you like and then still throw it on with your same old jeans, and you can rock it that way.
And you can just mix and match. And what we've got bright summer colours, I think, is another one that we just mentioned.
Sorbets.
And some lace.
Do you know what's interesting, and I think we might come on to leather as well, is that leather and lace are predominantly associated with winter and autumn, especially leather. And they're suddenly all over the spring runways. So they're doing them in these lighter colours and, creams and neutrals, but also the sorbet. Picture going for ice cream, and then you will find all my favourite spring trend colours, so lemon yellow, pistachio.
We've got some here, I suppose. These are more like kind of the brights.
Yes, mints though also, and peaches, and they're gorgeous. And they're not that soft pastel colours that we've seen previously. They're a bit more zingy.
There's a bit more kind of like a sherbety feel to them or something. Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
I know, I'm really getting starving. I'm like, maybe we get some sherbet or some cocktails or something.
But yes, my tip for wearing leather in the summer would be just do it in small portions, because you will boil, especially if you live anywhere that is remotely hot. There you go. So that's some gorgeous summer leather. But that in a top or just the skirt.
Well, because I remember Chanel had those fantastic yellow shorts, the leather shorts that were sort of everywhere, maybe like a couple of seasons ago. So we sort of haven't lost leather as sort of like something we should be lusting after.
No, definitely not. And I think lace as well, go bright, or at least have a bright lining underneath it. That's a nice, fresh way to wear that.
So kind of choose like one piece in your whole outfit that sort of is the standout, the colour, or is kind of something a bit more flashy, and then accessorize with something a bit more neutral, like pare it down.
Yeah, totally. Unless you want to go nuts, in which case, be my guest.
I know.
But I think in general, that's how I'd say try a new trend, by just putting it somewhere on your body, not head to toe.
Yeah, what, like head to toe leather, for instance? Unless you want to look like Anne Hathaway. She rocked it.
She
looked great.
Yes.
I mean, the thing we did just sort of mention, the things you shouldn't do. And there are some things that you just, you shouldn't do, but you kind of...
Where are you going?
I'm going with... We have our very own HuffPost Live slideshow of the kind of fashion faux pas that you really shouldn't do, but that some people still do.
Okay, love
particularly
it.
for
Well done,
men.
HuffPost.
I know.
Oh
well,
my
we knew you were
gosh.
coming in.
Is that a guy?
It's a gentleman wearing leggings.
Wow.
What would you say?
What's wrong with this picture?
Yes. What is wrong with this picture? I mean, you know, you hear there was a whole. I think, and our very own James Paulus actually wrote a piece. I think in Vice, all about leggings. Is it something that a man should ever even remotely consider?
Do I need to dignify that with an answer?
Please do. For the legging wearers out there, you're going to hear it from
Do you know what?
Louise Roe.
I never was a fan of skinny jeans on guys. Granted, it suits some people like Mick Jagger or something, rock star people.
But he's really skinny. And he's been doing it since the 70s.
Exactly.
So.
But even I think, and don't give me hate mail, but even on One Direction, I think sometimes those jeans are a little bit too tight. You are a man, let's remember.
Well, that gets their voices kind of a little bit octave higher.
There you go.
So we also, moving on from leggings, we also have capri pants for men.
Oh my gosh.
But he looks kind of, he's wearing them loud and proud.
Yeah, they're less scary than leggings, but still on the scary factor.
Still on the scary factor.
Definitely. Especially in crisp white linen, you know. I mean,
you can't have your ice cream on the seaside with that. That's just going to be a mistake. And finally for men, we also have sandals. Are there ever any kind of occasions where men can wear sandals, apart from in Brooklyn, accessorised with a very big beard? This is ever.
You guys are killing me.
This is ever okay.
You know, socks and sandals are just amazing, and I'm kidding. Socks and sandals are the worst way to do it. But if you are desperate to get your toes out, guys, have a pedicure and don't be afraid of it, because
wax the toes first.
Something like that, because crusty old toenails are just not cute. Sorry, am I making everyone's stomachs turn? You've just had lunch.
All of the crew here are just sort of like, they're probably hiding their toes.
You have to man up and go and get a pedicure. It's all right.
I think that's good advice. Man up, get a pedicure, guys. Great advice. And of course, it's not just the men; it's women as well. We had to be fair and balanced here.
Okay.
You may recall platform sneakers.
Do you know what? I'm starting to like these. Yeah, I have to say, at first I was like, no way. Even like Isabel Marant and, you know, the likes of Miranda Kerr wearing them, and she can make anything cool. I was still dubious. But I am actually liking them now. And I think
But what do you wear them with?
I've skinny jeans, leggings, even leather trousers, and something simple on top, like a shirt, even a white T-shirt and a cardigan or a cashmere jumper. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Even like a bit of a sort of rock and roll tour T-shirt or something.
Yeah.
I like them. I'm going to say tick.
Okay. Well, there we go. So some things you think are a faux pas, you can do. You just have to. It's all about the accessories. Then we have side boob. And this isn't really something you wear. This is more the byproduct of something you wear. I mean, I can understand how it happens, because you see it on the rail and you just think it looks gorgeous. It's Alexander Wang or whatever the hell it is. Not saying Alexander Wang propagates side boob, but
I don't think it's usually a mistake. I think it's usually purposeful side boob. It's very sexy if done correctly. See, that picture is fine. But if you go any more closer to something that rhymes with ripple, then you just don't want to go there. It's too much. And I think, you know, people, I have to say, I think the worst offender, but she's kind of allowed to do whatever she wants, is Rihanna.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of side
Like,
boob.
Riri does some things, though, that I couldn't even fathom. I mean, the bikini with the sort of like crochet,
she's her own thing, and I feel like she can get away with it, and she rocks trends. But it's scary. I would definitely have a lot of tape, spare tape in your bag. That would be my
that's a good
advice.
idea. Yeah, put it in your Chanel clutch. Just make sure you have a lot of boob tape, or somebody that can walk around with you and just pull it to the side.
I've seen stylists do that though.
Really,
no
just the assistants running around?
Oh, yeah, on red carpets, just keeping an eye.
Yeah, you've seen so much, because you covered the Oscars, and you've done
the Globes, the BAFTAs in London.
Yeah, you've done everything.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, I mean, apart from side boob, we also have leggings as pants. So you are wearing leggings. You're wearing leather leggings today.
Yes.
But these are more the sort of leggings in the workplace situation.
Leggings as like pants as in trousers.
Yeah.
It depends how thin they are, and you have got to do the kind of bend over or sit down test, because if some get very, very sheer and they're like tights.
Yeah.
And that's a big no-no, or wear a 3/4 length top or something. But otherwise, they're fine.
And then, I mean, in terms of, and I'm going to say the words that my producer Jill said in my ear. Do we need to cover the coochie?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. I think in the workplace there are certain things, and also actually one thing we haven't really addressed is age. Is there a point where you should stop wearing a certain trends? Like, is side boob appropriate if you're over the age of 35?
I don't know if I'd put an age cap on it, but I think it's dependent upon. Right, how am I going to put this diplomatically? Your figure, your physique, how fit you are, how young you sort of feel and look. But I am a really big flag flyer of, if you feel good enough, just go for it. Like Madonna in a leotard at 50, I'm thumbs up. I'm all over it.
Madonna in a leotard at 50.
A lot of people hated on that. And
I want to be Madonna in a leotard
applaud
at 50.
it. Why not? Why should she have to follow the crowd and, what do you want, wearing a twin set or something? No.
No, just no.
So it's up to the individual, I think. Yeah.
Well, we have some people that have some questions for you in our Google Hangout. Joining us now, we have Sally McGraw, a style and body image writer in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shari Hershen, a fashion designer in New York City. And Leanne Lucy, an aspiring designer and student at the Rhode Island School of Design in Providence, Rhode Island.
Wow.
Thanks, ladies, for joining us today.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
So, Sally, let's come to you first. What is your question for Louise?
Well, Louise, thank you so much for joining us today. And I was just wondering about the ruffles trend. Could you tell us how a woman could wear ruffles without adding a lot of volume to her figure?
That's a really good question, because they certainly can. And
Yeah.
I think if you're particularly busty, then it's not a good idea to wear it around your chest. However, if you're more flat-chested, it can really help give curves. Gucci was my favourite example of doing it well. And Rosie Huntington-Whiteley actually wore a green Gucci dress with ruffles on the red carpet the other day. And again, granted, she could wear anything.
Yeah.
But they're very simple. It's sort of like one ruffle. And it's almost like a loose wave that goes all the way down the side of the dress. So I think that the cleaner it is, the better. Well, if you start looking a bit more like, Renaissance King's Court type, fluff ruffles everywhere and all over the sleeves.
What a bit Anne Boleyn.
Too much. Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going. Thank you.
Sherry, what about you? What question do you have for Louise?
Hi, Louise.
Hello.
I noticed that you've segued from being a journalist and a TV host to being a designer yourself. So I wanted to know a little bit about how you made that transition and how you feel when you see the contestants on the show kind of going down a lane that you think maybe they shouldn't be going down. Are you able to interact with them at all?
That's such a great point. And I love the fact that I used to review all the shows, the runway shows at Fashion Week for magazines, and then obviously in TV, red carpet, you're still essentially doing the same thing because you're looking at dresses and critiquing them. And then to jump into designing was something I always wanted to do. It wasn't a new idea. It was something that I'd had waiting in the wings and finally got the opportunity to do. And I think the three mix very well. But on the show, I do see people, and it's not my role as host. I'm not one of the mentors, but I do host NBC.com, the online version, so the episodes, and that's the backstage stuff. And I go into the design studio with them and get involved. And that's when I get more of a chance to they do ask me questions. And even if the cameras have switched off for a minute, they'll be like, what do you think about this? So as much as possible, especially the more I got to know them and I really was rooting for them, I was quite honest. And but to be honest, the talent level was so high this year that only the first few episodes, one or two people really missing the mark. But from then on, it was a very, very tough race. So they didn't really need much advice.
No. Well, I mean, in terms of, and you're working with John Varvatos, people like that. I mean,
amazing.
Is this like a dream come true?
It's so cool because he comes from a very different background. He's originally from Detroit. He's such a cool, down-to-earth guy, and yet he just threw a party, for example, in LA this weekend, and Aerosmith played just because he asked them to. And it's like, that's how rock and roll he is. He knows all the musicians, and a lot of those musicians are the inspiration for his pieces. And then Jessica Simpson's brand is now worth, I think, $1.4 billion. It's the biggest celebrity brand in history of all time. So to have these people, Nicole Richie is just incredibly successful and a style icon of mine as well. It's amazing. I sort of have to remind myself to carry on with the show. I just want to listen to them.
I think you're pretty talented in your own right. You belong up there with them as well.
Not quite $1.4 billion.
You know,
give or take.
Give or take. Leanne, what's your question for Louise?
Sure. I'll ask about, since we're talking about celebrities, how do you think a young up-and-coming designer competes with celebrities in the marketplace?
I think the key is to try not to compete, because on that scale of things, the successful ones like Jessica are in a league of their own. I think that the key, and this was something a lot of the designers, some found hard to really realise, was the balance you have to strike between maintaining your integrity, your identity of your brand and your aesthetic, and balancing that with a lot of the feedback the buyers were giving. Macy's, for example, would say, yeah, but I can't sell that. It's very pretty, but how is it going to suit the average sized woman in America? And there were two designers in particular who, really belong in a couture house in Paris, because they were so intricate and amazingly detailed, but they struggled with, how am I going to make this mainstream? And once I think you overcome that, and equally appealing to buyers is the ability to appeal to press. That's key too. Get it in magazines, on blogs, because that's how you're going to sell it. But never ever lose what your key identity is, because that's what will distinguish you from the rest.
And you said about the second episode of this second season is going to be about sex. So how do you sex? But so how do you create something, and what are some of the things that are the do's when you're creating something that's supposed to be kind of sexy and on the borderline of like a little bit out there, without going, top shelf sexy?
Yeah, totally. Well, again, up to the individual. Personally, I think that the shoulders, the décolletage, is a very sexy area without even going near the cleavage. And so, I've created one shoulder tops before. They're slightly going out of trend now, but for a while, huge and very, very attractive. The back is a really sexy area. I think it's about even high-waisted pieces, which so many women are afraid of. They can actually be very, very flattering and give you that gorgeous 50s hourglass shape and hold you in. I think lace is gorgeous, especially if you wore, say, a bright or a black lace that's lined with nude
Nice.
colour.
Yeah.
That's incredibly sexy, because it's kind of hinting that you're not wearing anything underneath, but you are,
Well, speaking of lace, obviously, Kate Middleton wore lace at her wedding, and I can't help but just take a little look at the ring on your finger there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're planning your wedding?
I am trying.
How's it all going, and what dress are you kind of thinking of?
I haven't got to the dress yet. I've got ideas, but I honestly haven't started working with anyone on it. But it's weird because I've been more focused on who and where and how and all that. But going to make everyone come to California.
I think you should.
Yes, at last. I fly back to London enough, so they can all come to the sunshine. I'm trying to organise it here and there when I get a free minute, because it's a bit busy at the moment.
You're just a tiny bit. You're just juggling quite a few things. And of course, as well, you've got your new series coming out, as well as Fashion Star.
Yeah.
Just tell us very quickly before we have to wrap.
Yes, it's on the Style Network, which is part of E, and it's called Pop Style, and it's their first ever live show. It's going to be on Friday nights, and it's Jeannie, Mai and I having a laugh, basically. So we're going to have guests in on Skype and be talking about all the cultural and mainly fashion-based news of that week.
Fantastic.
So I can't wait.
Are you excited or nervous?
So excited. Live is my favourite. You probably get adrenaline rush out of doing this, and I'm the same.
It is. It is really good fun. Well, Louise, it's been so nice to have you. Thank you so much.
So good to see
I know it's really
you.
good to see you as well. It's just like
Thank
the
you,
HuffPost, I love
guys.
it. And thank you guys in the Hangout as well for great
Thank you.
questions. And for everybody watching, commenting and tweeting, you can continue to do so after the segment, and the conversation continues right after this on HuffPost Live.